I'm Laura Bussing, and I'm going to show you my protocol for working the 2-3-4 weave method. And I'm going to start today by working how I start exactly right from the beginning with a new dog who's never done weaving before. So in the beginning, I want the dog to get the idea of going through the poles, and I don't care how they go through the poles. I'm going to use my favorite for teaching this is indoors. It's just this set of pool runners, a set of 6 weaves, and I can put 2 poles on it and start with 2 poles, but then I can build it out to 3 and 4 poles all the way up to 6. So I'm just going to start. I'm going to get this dog used to going through the poles. Boy, just so that he sees it's rewarding to go through the poles. Ah, good boy. Good boy. Yeah, good. And once I see a dog that's doing this pretty well, it just depends on your dog, then I'm going to start and do the actual sending them to the weaves. So initially what I want to do is I want to send him through the weave poles at around the clock. So I'm going to start at 3 o'clock and I'm going to work all the way around the clock. 12 o'clock is going to be up here, and 6 o'clock is back here, and then of course 3 and 9 o'clock. So I start this, so you want to make sure you have a few things. You have treats that you can toss. You have a dog on with a collar or harness that you can hold on to them. And that's basically it, a really happy attitude. Here we go. Hey. Hey. I'm just going to start and hold on to him. And I'm going to start here at 3 o'clock and let him go. Yay, good. Good. And the secret to this is throwing out the 3 treats. So the first treat placement I'm trying to place here, and then a second treat and a third treat are going up ahead, and that's creating the dog's form of weaving with our head low and moving ahead excitedly. So now I'm going to help him with this. So in the beginning, I'm going to help him find the entries. Yeah, good boy. Yeah. Good boy. Yeah. Good boy. And I'm just going to work my way around the clock. And I just keep moving around the clock. And again. Yeah. Good boy. Good. So have 3 treats in your hand ready to go as you do this. Hey. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. Good job. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. Oh, that's okay. If we make a mistake, that's okay. This is how the dogs are going to learn. So I'm going to help him get this a little bit better. Hey. Yay! Good boy! Yeah! So I'm throwing out those treats. Okay, so now we're going to work this side of the weaves, and I'm going to switch the dog. He's going to be on my right side, and I'm going to step and send with my right leg, and I'm going to help him find the entrance. Here we go. And that's okay. Mistakes are a part of this process, and that's how the dogs learn. Yeah, good boy. Yeah. So we're just tossing those treats out there for him. Tap. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. And so I'm going to move position now to this side of the clock. Yeah. Whoops, and that's my mistake. Sometimes you will throw your treats a little wrong before your dog gets into the entrance. There we go. And so we'll just set it back up, and I will make sure I help him in here. Good. Let me just set him back up again. Yeah, good boy. Good boy. Hey, good boy. So this is the hardest side for the dog. It's this side. And so we really need to help the dog when they're starting this with getting into the entrance. Yeah. Yeah, good boy. And then we're throwing our treats out ahead for him. Good boy. And so now I'm going to work down this way on this with him on this side of me. Yeah, good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Okay. So I worked just 2 poles around the clock a couple of times. And what my goal is to start seeing the dog finding the entrance on his own. And so it's important, just like you saw earlier, that the dog did make a couple of mistakes, but that we showed him how to get to the entrance a little bit better, and he tried harder. So the reason why this 2, 3, 4 method works really well is we have to let the dog make mistakes and for them to find the entrances on their own. So I'm going to start going around the clock again, and now I want him to start finding the entrances a little bit better, so I'm going to be slightly further away from the weaves. Good boy. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. And again, we're still throwing 3 treats out. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. Ready? Ready? Yeah, good boy. Good boy. Very good. So he really found the entrance there, so I like that one. So I'm going to keep moving around. Okay. Yeah, good boy. Good boy. Good. Good boy. Yeah. So again, I want to keep throwing the treats out so he keeps driving forward and keeping his head down low, and that's creating our good form. Okay guys, so we've been working with Tav, our 1-year-old border collie, with just the 2 poles and working around the clock. So now I'm going to try to proof that a little bit with him, and I want to try to really see him finding the entrances on his own. And this time I'll be a little bit further away from the poles. So again, so my clock, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. So we're going to start right over here. Again, make sure every time you're doing this, you are holding on to the dog here, and you tell him the word when you release him. Okay? Wee! Yeah! Good boy! Yay! Still throwing out 3 treats because we want this really fun and exciting. Ha! Good boy! Good boy! So now I'm going to work up here at 2 o'clock. And let him find the entrance. Weave! Yeah! Good boy! Good boy! And those 3 treats are keeping his head nice and low. Good boy! Yeah! So each time I get the 3 treats in my hand before I start off. Weave! Yeah! Good boy! Yay! Really good. Good boy! Yeah! Ready? Ready? Weave! Yay! Good boy! Hey! Really good! Really good! Really good! Really good! Ready? Weave! Yeah! Good boy! Good boy! Really good! Good. Now I'm going to switch sides. So it also means I switch sides that the dog is on. The dog's now going to be on my right side. Good. And I'm going to start over here at 9 o'clock. Ready? Whee! Yeah! Good boy! Really good! Sometimes the treats don't always go right where you want them to go when you throw them. Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Ready? Whee! Yeah! So he's really finding these entrances. So I'm really liking that. Good boy. So I like he's really finding these entrances for me. Good boy. Good boy. Hi. 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 Ready? Whee! Yeah! Good boy. Good boy. And again, those treats are still going out with that. So with seeing these working him all around the clock, I think we're getting close to 3 poles, people. 3 poles. Everybody. Whee! Yeah! Good boy! Good boy! All right. So this is what I like to see before I'm going to put 3 poles on for the dog. He can find these entrances with me letting go of him from a good distance away than what we first started with. So let's go to 3 pulls. Okay, now we're ready for 3 pulls because I have a dog that is showing me that he can find all the entrances on his own around the clock with just 2 pulls. And so now we're ready to add the 3rd pull. And in the beginning, I'm going to help him find that entrance around the 3rd pull. Hi. 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 Again, still make sure you're restraining the dog, and we're gonna start closer this time. Yeah, good boy. Yeah, good boy. So I'm helping him just find this entrance here to that 3rd pole. Come here, buddy. Good boy. Wee. So we had a mistake. So we're not going to say anything. We're just going to go again. Wee. Yeah, good boy. Again, I'm still using 3 treats and throwing those out for him. Hey. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I just threw up into my hand. Yeah. Oh, hi. Yeah. Are you excited? You excited? Wee. Good boy. Wee. Yeah. Good boy. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. Wee. Good. Just want to see, can he find that entrance yet, or do we still need just a little help? Wee. Yay! Good boy. Good boy. So you saw him stop, and you literally saw him think for a minute. So that was really good. Good boy. Good boy. Wee. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. It's good. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Tap. Good boy. I'm going to switch over here to this side. Good boy. Oh, good boy. Ready? Whoops. Again, I threw a treat and he hadn't quite made it yet. So this is harder on the handler. So I have to help him. I'm on a different side. I have to help him in here and be able to toss that treat for him at the same time. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. Okay. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. So I'm going to give him the idea of how to find around that 3rd pole. Hey. Hi. Hey. Hey. Here. Yeah. Good boy. Not such a great toss on my part with the food, but that's okay. Here we go. Good boy. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. And again, I'm still tossing out the 3 treats going forward. Look at the boy. Look at the boy. Wee. Good boy. Yeah. Good boy. Really good. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. Wee. Wee. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. So Tab is starting really to be able to find these entrances on his own and do the pattern. So we're just working around the clock one more time. Hey, come on. Ah, good boy. Good boy. Wee. Oh, goodness. Goodness, goodness. Good boy. Here we go. Hey. Wee. Yes, good boy. So that time he got it right. Good boy. Good boy. Okay. Let's go. Good boy. Ready? Wee. Yes, good boy. So now that the dog is starting to really find all these entrances on his own, I'm going to go to the next level of my protocol, and that's where I'm going to send him around something and then have him go into the weed. So you can do it with a wing, or you can do it with just a stanchion. You can do it with cones. So cones, you can do it with, you know, like cones like these. And so I start with these over here, and I just send